Now this girl decided that she was going to shoplift. Now she looking for something. Shoplift, you got money, girl. Your father just kicked the bucket, girl. He done left you a shizload of money. You don't need to steal nothing. I don't want to go back. Mom told me you have to go back. I'll be fine, which was a lie, of course. My mother was shattered. I don't believe that she has been able to fully absorb the loss of my father. Consequently, she has never healed. Oh, she healed because she ended up marrying another dude in the 70s, so she all right. Somehow it was easier for each of us, Mom, Cookie, and me, to fend for ourselves emotionally. The center of our world had fallen out. The person who had been our glue was gone. We each had different plans to deal with, and none of us knew how to heal ourselves or help heal those around us. That kind of damage may take a lifetime to repair, or it never happens at all. Our family just fragmented into little pieces. So we retreated into our corners. Cookie was already on her own. Mom stayed in Los Angeles with Kelly, and the twins and I went back to Northfield and proceeded to get into various levels of trouble. I didn't have a lot of people that I could talk to about how I felt at that time. The years between 12 and 15 are crucial for a girl, no matter what the circumstances. But when you lose your father in those tender years without any stable, nurturing relationship with your mother, you feel lost on the Jesus. In some ways, it's as if you're still a small child, but all alone. I never really got to make the transition from little girl to young woman. The people at Northfield were sympathetic, which is not the same as supportive. They weren't really equipped to help me deal with my situation. So I said in this part, I wanted to explain the difference between support and sympathetic. Sympathetic, of course, is you're feeling sorry for someone. Oh, I feel so bad for you. You lost your dad. Oh, life for you without your dad. Boo, boo, boo. That is so different from sending somebody a note every day that says you are beautiful, you are great, you are worthy. Or you could just call them every morning to say good morning. Or you could just remind them how important they are. Small things like, hey, I'm getting ready to come over and take you to lunch because I don't think you're eating. It looks like you're losing some weight. Talking about it and being about it is two different things. It takes nothing for you to open your mouth and say, I'm sorry for you. But to actually put the work in is different. Sympathetic and support are two different things. And some people don't know how to support. Some people just don't know how to be quiet and listen to the person's pain, hold their hand while they're crying. That's supportive. There was, however, one girl, Kristen Pickett, with whom I shared my feelings. Girl, who knew that this little girl was an old bulldagger? But Natalie Cole didn't seek out a romantic relationship with her. She knew who the little girl was, but the girl was actually supportive. And I don't believe it had anything to do with her loving women. I think she just was that person. It was in her. So anyway, like I said, she was an old girl lover. And the school found a way of kicking the girl out without saying We kicking you out because you're an old girl lover. Eventually, and not surprisingly, they kicked Kristen out of the school. Not for being gay, they couldn't do that. They had to come up with something else. But the real reason was that she had started a relationship with another girl at the school. A beautiful girl, a little younger than me. And it was just not acceptable at the time for kids to have an openly gay relationship. Northfield wasn't the most pleasant experience for me because I associated with being kept away from my father when he was dying. Northfield ain't do it. Your mammy did it. Your mammy, her selfish ass. But it was a challenging academic environment. I learned discipline and independence. I was in an all-girls school. There ain't too many black folks there. There were just too many hurdles. But there was also a big part of me that wanted to prove to my mom that I could do this. I wanted to show her that I was capable of being a good student and a good daughter. And I did show her for a while. But after my second year at Northfield ended, I had not been back home in Los Angeles for more than a few weeks when I got into much bigger trouble than just having a gay friend. Child, this girl decided that she was going to shoplift. Now she looking for something. Shoplift? You got money, girl. Your father just kicked the bucket, girl. He done left you a shizload of money. You don't need to steal nothing. But trying to get attention and fit in, she ended up getting caught shoplifting. But the shoplifting was more acting out at my mother than a reaction to my father's death. Mother and I were at a crucial point in our relationship. Either we were going to get closer or we were going to get further apart. Certainly, we weren't going to stay the same. And as seemed to be the case of many relationships in my family, things just got further apart. My mother really clung to her younger children at that time, Kelly and the twins. Kelly was 6. Casey and Timberland were 3. And the twins, of course, were the last things my dad left her. She had thought that she wasn't going to get pregnant ever again, and she really didn't want to get pregnant ever again. But there she was with the twins. Sometimes life just happens. The shoplifting was my way of rebelling, a way to get my mother's attention. It was also kind of a dare, too. I always had money in my pocket, and there was no reason at all for me to steal. But if you are a spoiled kid, as I definitely was, you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You want to see if you can get away with it. So what ended up happening was she didn't get away with it. She got caught. They took her ass down there to the police station and was very hush-hush about it because they knew exactly who the little girl was. She didn't have to do no time. It wasn't on record, but she had to do some kind of community service where she had to work for a government building, I believe. But she had to pay, but she ain't had to pay like the regular folks had to pay. My mother decided that I should come back to Los Angeles to finish school after my sophomore year at Northfield, which was fine by me. Once Kristen was gone, I knew that I never wanted to go back. That September, she enrolled me at the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks. Hallelujah. I was out of the nunnery. Undoubtedly, she did this because she wanted to keep a watchful eye on my activities. But I didn't care. I was happy to be home with the twins and my brother, Kelly. I loved being back in my own room and being the big sister. At Buckley, there were few other blacks, but it was co-ed, and I certainly wasn't the only granddaughter of someone famous. Walt Disney's granddaughter, Phyllis Diller's son, Perry, Dick Van Dyke's son. We had a lot of common ground. For the first time, I felt as though I really fit in and I liked it. I was a cheerleader. I had a lot of friends, and I was dating one of the hottest guys in the area, a handsome young black man named Eric from Loyola High. In truth, I knew virtually nothing about sex and was a virgin when I met Eric. I had sort of skipped sex education. My mother didn't tell me anything about sex, about periods, about breasts, about nothing. When she first learned I was using Tampax before Eric, she freaked out because in those days, if you used a tampon, that meant you weren't a virgin. I learned everything from Cookie because no one else talked to me about that kind of stuff. I remember being 17 and giving myself my first douche. I got the equipment from my sister. It was this old-fashioned bag with a girl, I don't want to talk about that bag. Child, I didn't know what the hell that bag was for. I thought it was like, well, it is, but I thought you used the bag when you needed to, like when your stomach was fucked up or when you had diarrhea. I didn't know people was using the bag for the douches to clean out the vagina, and you better never use one now. I don't even think they sell douches anymore. Because come to find out, you just messing it all up in there. Eric was my first serious, steady boyfriend and my first actual experience. After dating for a while, we were both very anxious to, quote unquote, do it. On the fateful day, Eric picked me up from school in his white Mustang with the black convertible top. He always kept some Jack Daniels in the glove compartment, and I think we had a little nip for courage. His parents were not home, so we went to his house and up to his room and got into it after a little awkwardness. Things were going along quite romantically when an unmistakable, unforgettable voice began to sing on the radio. It was my father. Eric and I freaked out, as would I. My relationship with Eric helped me to have an extremely positive outlook on sex in general. In addition to being gentle, considerate, and fun, he was also a good student and an inspiration for lots of study sessions. Sometimes we would stay up all night studying for tests and maybe a little hanky-panky. We occasionally took a dexedrine to study. What the hell was a dexedrine? What is that? Dex? Uppers like Dex are not a high. It just keeps your ass awake so you can read all that stuff. Is that what they put in us? What's that, Sudafed? But this was 1967, junior year, and the entire universe was getting high. In 1967, smoking a joint was not considered a big deal by anyone under the age of 30, and I was very curious about the experience. Exclusive, conservative, preppy Buckley was also where I discovered marijuana. I can believe it. Them be the main ones. Them be the main ones.
No.